What's up, Wall fans? What's up, Common Sensors? And of course, social media world. Did you miss me? I hope you did. I've missed all of you. It's been a long 2 months of no Go Tell It to the Wall content outside of throwing up some rant videos and everything else. And a lot of that is having to do with quarantine. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as we get into the episode. Welcome to the live feed, by the way. This is a new format that we're trying out. I've been kind of meaning to do shorter episodes in between, and finally, with the climate we're in and with all the it's craziness in my house, we'll get into a lot of that during the episode. But we're kicking off Common Sense Sunday. That's right, Common Sense Sunday. These are going to be half an hour episodes. Of course, I say that now. We all know I try to do shorter episodes and they don't go quite as planned. So as it's planned, we're looking at half an hour episodes, and instead of doing the usual segments that we do for Go Tell It to the Wall episodes, it's going to just be current topical stuff, which episodes usually are, but revolving around common sense. And of course, today, for the very first episode, hi Kevin, welcome. We are actually going to talk a lot about COVID, the quarantine, as well as some new formats and some new stuff coming your way. And of course, we are going to talk about music, because in the 2 months that it's been since I've been live with you guys and posting episodes, there's been a lot of music stuff happening that really was happening prior to the quarantine, but now even more stuff with the quarantine. So we're going to get into a lot of that stuff. I'm going to keep the ranting to a minimum. I'm going to be voicing my opinion, but for the most part, I'm not going to sit here and chide on everyone and everything else. I mean, there's a few people that need it, but not entire groups of people. So all of that being said, welcome to the live feed. Welcome to Common Sense Sundays, and let's get into it. Headphones are also going out. It's funny, I haven't been in the studio for 2 months, and I'm like, what is this? What's happening here? It feels very new. I'll also say, usually we have a beer on Go Tell It to the Wall podcast episodes, and haven't had one, so this is going to be interesting. All right, Wall fans, Common Sensors podcast consumers, and of course, social media world, where we are currently live with our new show format. That's right, I am your favorite podcast host, the one and only Sean O'Rourke from Go Tell It to the Wall, and we're switching things up a bit. If you've been a long-time listener, this is a new format that I've been meaning to kind of add into the Go Tell It to the Wall repertoire. It was originally going to kind of be half an hour episodes between actual Go Tell It to the Wall full episodes, and because of the climate we're in, everything going on in the world today, I've decided to launch Common Sense Sunday. So this is going to be a new format, hopefully every Sunday. This is of course going to depend on timing. For those of you that enjoy the full format of Go Tell It to the Wall, that isn't going anywhere. It's still going to be here. We are on a little bit of a hiatus right now with the full format of Go Tell It to the Wall, and that is mainly because I've had to give up my studio here, my home studio, because my wife has been working from home for the past 2 months, given the quarantine orders and the stay-at-home orders and everything else. So it's been a little difficult for me to get in here and work during the week. However, on Sundays, she is actually not working from home. So we're going to have these at least, and we'll continue them once we do get back to full episodes of Go Tell It to the Wall. And there's some more announcements coming your way as we get into this episode. So, Wall fans, Common Sensors, welcome to Common Sense Sundays. And we always kick things off, I know I mentioned the new format, with our social plugs. If you want to keep up with us during episodes, after episodes, for episodes, whenever you so please, you can do that in multiple places. One of those would be Facebook. Head over to facebook.com/GoTellItToTheWall. That is our official Facebook page, going to keep you up to date on everything having to do with Go Tell It to the Wall. Videos, podcast episodes, dumb things, all the stuff that we do here in the studio. Of course, you can also find us on YouTube. Head over to YouTube, search Go Tell It to the Wall, subscribe to our channel. It is Go Tell It to the Wall. That's where you're going to find all of the live feeds. For those of you that only listen to the audio, if you're interested in actually seeing video, that's where you're going to find it. You're also going to find all of our beer reviews, our common sense rants, our common sense clips, all kinds of good stuff up there, including parenting and mental health clips. So make sure you check that out. And of course, most importantly and all-encompassing of those things, would be SeanWorkLive.com. Bookmark that, check back often. You're going to find links to those things I just mentioned, as well as a link to our Patreon page, our Patreon campaign. If you have the means to do so and you see fit to do it, please help us out financially. I know a lot of people are struggling right now. Trust me, I completely understand. I'm obviously missing out on quite a bit of revenue, not being able to get in the studio for as much content. But also, for those of you that have been longtime listeners, I'm missing out on all of my live event revenue currently. But I do count myself lucky because my wife is still able to work from home, unlike a lot of people out there that maybe had a dual income, now down to nothing, whatever that might be. So I definitely count myself lucky, but I do understand that it's tough out there for a lot of people. Additionally, there's a lot of other people that you want to support. So make sure you are supporting everyone that you're a fan of, that you follow, whatever it might be. Especially during this time, because a lot of artists and everything else, they're struggling right now. Musicians can't play live shows. That's revenue. Retail stores can't, they can't open outside of like grocery stores and stuff. So keep those people in mind as well. That's right, SeanWorkLive.com. Oh, and my Instagram. I've been throwing that out there. It's SoCalSean. If you want to follow my own personal Instagram, you're going to see some cool stuff on there as well. Most importantly, today is Sunday, May 10th, 2020, and it happens to be Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, and especially to my mom, Ray O'Rourke, and my beautiful wife, Diana O'Rourke. And of course, a very special happy Mother's Day to our very own Bridget, who, as you know, is also a mother. She might be jumping on here. We kind of threw this format together last minute, didn't give anybody warning, and we're just kind of going at it here. And it's funny because I'm rambling so much. It's been two months of not being in the studio, and it's just start rambling. All right, moving along. I said we don't have sections, but we are going to talk about a lot of things today. Mental Health Awareness Month. That's right. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. We are currently 10 days into Mental Health Awareness Month for 2020, and I feel it is even more important now than ever, given the climate that we're in. And I said this when things really started kicking off with the stay-home orders and everything else. Check on your friends and family that have mental health problems or mental illness. This can be a very trying time for a lot of people. For me personally, again, if you've listened to the podcast, if you're new, you may not know, I suffer from what can be a debilitating obsessive-compulsive disorder. So this has been, and I laugh because it's all I can do with myself, this has been extremely difficult for me personally. And there's many other people out there that are experiencing these same things. When you're talking about, first of all, people having to be told to wash their hands. I think we talked about this on the last Go Tell Us the Wall episode 2 months ago before it got really crazy. But just the fact that we have such an unknown disease out there is definitely going to affect people like myself that have OCD. I constantly obsess on what is going to happen. In fact, I always joke with my wife. She goes to the grocery store, like she's gone to the grocery store like 3 times over the past 2 months just to stock up, and I always joke with her when she comes home, like, all right, I'm getting out the hose. I'm gonna hose you down. I'm not, obviously not doing that, but for me personally, it's been very frustrating, just because my mind automatically goes to the bad place. That's what happens with a lot of people that suffer from obsessive compulsive disorder, is you obsess on those thoughts. So in my mind, basically every morning I wake up and I have COVID, and I'm pretty much about to die from it. Now, rationally, I know I don't. I haven't left my house in 2 months. I mean, I've gone about a block away. I walked around the block twice, 2 times since being on stay-at-home orders. I've been in my yard, just not leaving my property. But it's very tough, and I'm not the only one out there. So keep your friends and family in mind when it comes to that. Check up on them. Make sure they're doing well, and see if there's anything that you can do to make things easier for them, make this whole experience easier for them, and especially given that it is Mental Health Awareness Month. Please keep that in mind. And I'll tell you, we're going to be kicking off Mental Health Mondays. I've been teasing it for a while, so we'll probably get a little more in depth on mental health revolving around COVID and the coronavirus and the stay-home orders and all the restrictions, and not only the restrictions but also dealing with other people and differing attitudes and beliefs when it comes to this quarantine, hoax or not, whatever it might be. Hey, Jeff, thanks for joining the live feed. Got Cousin on here joining the live feed. like I said, I just threw this together. I got up this morning. I was like, Common Sense Sundays. This is what we're doing. This is the new format, and we are still going to be moving forward with everything else. So this is just adding more to my plate. It'll be lots of fun. All right, I want to talk specifically about coronavirus and COVID. There's a lot of things for me to unpack. As I said at the top of the episode, or maybe I was only saying it on the live feed, I don't want to sit here and chide on people. A lot of people are disagreeing on certain things. And that's fine. I understand both points of view to an extent. There are extreme versions either way that I don't get on both sides. One of these, it's hard for me to wrap my head around how this became a political thing. And I understand everything's politicized in this country, really, around the world. But what I mean by that is I don't know how everybody fell in line. And we see most of the people protesting and most of the people they're saying it's a hoax and all this other stuff. Hey, Kyle, are out there. When you talk to them, they happen to be conservatives. I am neither one. They happen to be conservatives. And then when you look at the other side, the people that are saying stay home, they're saying, don't go out and protest and trying to keep others safe. It seems that these are mostly liberals. And it's hard for me to wrap my head around, and I think this is partly because I've never had a political party affiliation. I just don't. But it's amazing that we as a country, and really around the world, fall into these boxes all of a sudden. So I have been wondering, do Republicans out there say, well, conservatives say this is a hoax and that we need to reopen the country, so I need to fall into this category regardless of how I actually feel? And are there liberals and Democrats who actually want everything opened up, but they stay in this category? I don't get it. That's very strange to me and very foreign to me because we always seem to fall on individual sides without being free thinkers. And that's why I'm not a Republican or a Democrat or a liberal or a conservative. I'm Sean O'Rourke. I don't like being put in a group and told what to do, how to think, how to vote, how to believe. And it's just hard for me to wrap my head around that. I think the most important thing here is to protect yourself and your family. Whether you believe it or not, you need to do what's best for your family. And that's very much what I'm doing here. I said I haven't really left my property in 2 months. My kid goes outside to play, but we're very much social distancing. My wife has gone to the grocery store a couple times, and that's about it. I talk to the mailman from my porch when he puts stuff in my mailbox or throws it over the gate, and they say, I'll come grab it. That's about it. So, that's how I'm handling things. But I do want to bring up a couple things regarding common sense and all these things that are happening. I have heard this narrative come up from a lot of people that believe that everything should be reopened, especially here in California. A lot of people in California reopen California, and it's funny. Anyone that doesn't live in California, they tend to think that we are super liberal here in California. And we are to an extent, but overall, it's not as much as you would think. So there's a big campaign, Reopen California, and all this stuff. And I hear these comparisons, and people say, well, the chances of you dying from COVID are similar to dying in a car crash. Actually, and I don't care about the numbers, the exact numbers. Maybe the car crash you're more likely to die in a car crash. And I get that. And people have been throwing that out. I've seen it quite a bit. I've been throwing it out there. Well, so you're not going to drive around anymore? You're not going to drive your family around anymore because you could die in a car crash? Yes, that is true. That is 100% true. Trust me, I hate to fly, and I've heard my entire life, you're more likely to die in a car crash than a plane crash. So I get it. Here's the difference, though, and I think people aren't understanding this. No one's out here saying we need to close down the country for the rest of eternity. Close down these states for the rest of eternity. Yes, I recognize that you can get into a car and you can get into a car accident, you could possibly die and you could injure your family. Yeah, Jeff. My cousin Jeff is not known as the best driver on the face of the earth. And yes, Jeff, you definitely are a little more likely. But as I was saying, we're talking about something temporary here. So yes, you can die in a car crash. However, if someone said to you, if you don't drive your car for 2 months, 3 months, you're going to drastically decrease the amount of deaths on the road. And we just need to do it temporarily. Would it be that big a deal to not drive your car for a month, 2 months, 3 months, and go back to driving it after things have settled down? So don't come at me with the car crash narrative and all this other stuff and flu numbers and everything else. That's fine if that's how you want to believe. But other people have the right to believe what they do. Other people have the right to protect their families. And I will say, you can have that opinion. Anyone out there, the protesting, it needs to stop. The big groups of protesters. Start petitions. Do things digitally. Don't go get in big groups. We are already seeing increases in areas that have had protests, that have prematurely opened things up. In fact, they're tracking things back. We've seen clusters of COVID here in Southern California that have been tracked back to nail salons, have also been tracked back to children's birthday parties. So don't tell me it's non-existent. And you want to have that opinion? And here's the other thing. I will caveat all of that with, I get it. I get it. And I've seen a lot of people that come out with their opinion and why they believe that things should be reopened, and it's extremely rational. It makes sense. I said at the top of the line, I am fortunate. We're losing some revenue in my family, but not near as much as many other people out there. I get that side of it. I get it. And I'm not gonna chastise anyone, but I will say, like I said, don't come at me with crazy narratives. You could die in a car crash. Yeah. You could just die randomly too. And don't exacerbate it by getting into big groups. You know? The beach is gonna be there. All these things are still gonna be there. We just take a break from it. And the other thing is with the masks. I actually forgot to bring my masks in here because I've got a couple masks. And this has been we've actually had to wear masks in Los Angeles for a few weeks now. And I know, almost a month, I want to say. And I know in a lot of other areas, they May 1st, you had to start wearing masks. It's been pounded to death. People don't know how to wear masks and all this other stuff. And you've seen the meme where it's like wearing your underwear with your penis hanging out. Like, I get it. Learn to wear masks. But what I do want to talk about is it that big of a deal to wear a mask? It's hard for me to comprehend. I have a 3-year-old. I put a mask on her when we go for a walk around the block. She has no problem wearing the thing. And here's the thing. My good friend Laura, my sister Laura, she said to me, it's a whole new fashion accessory. And I get it. I've got a nice little Stool Preachers mask in my bedroom. I picked up a Less Than Jake mask. I've actually got a mask coming from Threadless. Would highly recommend Zombie Teeth Clothing on Threadless. He's got some awesome masks. And in fact, we'll have the mask here in the podcast. Paul Smith from Zombie Teeth Clothing. And there's all kinds of different ones. Find what's comfortable for you. And even if you don't think it helps at all, it's easy to just throw a mask on. Now, of course, I'm a burner. I got a lot of friends that are burners. When all this happened, it was like hand sanitizer and masks and all this. And I was like, just pull out the Burning Man box. I got hand sanitizer, I got masks, we got it all. We're good here. But of course, been picking up some other and thank you. My mother's been sewing quite a few masks and giving them out to people, as well as my aunt, who's in the Chicago area, has also been doing the same thing, just out of the good of their heart. So wear those masks. But maybe don't be like the couple of people that we have seen pop up in San Diego County. If you're not familiar with this, about a week ago or so, there was a gentleman who went grocery shopping in Santee, California. And because of the mask law, he decided to put on a Ku Klux Klan hood. You know, those white pointed hoods. He was, of course, asked to leave the grocery store. And then media caught it, and of course it caught fire. Well, unbelievably, in the same area, I don't believe it was the same grocery store, in the same area just a couple days ago, there was a couple who went shopping, and the male of the couple was wearing a mask, but he decided to wear a mask with a swastika on it. I don't care who you are, where you're from, neither of those things is ever acceptable. They're not. At all. But I will tell you, because a lot of people have seen this story, for anyone that is truly shocked at this, I grew up in San Diego. There is an accurate reason that we called Santee Clan Tea. So I wasn't shocked. Unfortunately, I wasn't shocked. But these are people they're trying to cause problems. They know that people are going to get upset about this, and yet there they are doing it. Do you think this guy walked in the grocery store and was like, everyone's going to love my swastika face mask? I mean, it is Santee, but he's still not going to be acceptable. Police were actually called on that one because the guy refused to leave the store, interestingly enough. And speaking of racist white people, I gotta say, if this story doesn't enrage you and bring you to tears at the same time, you're probably just a horrible person. And I'm talking about the young man in Georgia named Ahmaud Arbery. I'm so bad with pronouncing names. Everyone that listens knows this. Ahmaud Arbery, who was gunned down a couple months ago just jogging in his town in Georgia. Well, I don't want to say I recommend watching the video, but if you are someone that believes racism doesn't exist in this country anymore, if you believe that people of color are not treated in a different way, then you should be required to watch this video. It is a lynching, plain and simple. A young black man was jogging. Two white men chased him in a truck and killed him. There's no subjectivity to this. It is wrong in every way possible. And my heart aches for his family. My heart aches for people, any people of color, especially people with children, who have to worry about their children on a daily basis. And you see stuff like this, and it's terrifying to let your child go out for a jog, go out for a run. I relate to this. I was a track runner in high school. I was a triathlete. Very much enjoy running. But I've never had to worry about my life necessarily while out running. And here's a concrete example that we see where people of color are treated differently. And we have racist white people chasing him down and killing him. And then, don't get it twisted, because charges were finally filed against the two men. It took about 2 months for that. The only reason the charges were filed is because we all saw the video. Not because law enforcement in Georgia saw the video, but because we all saw the video. And people with compassion in this country got enraged. And that's the reason those two gentlemen were arrested. Oh, man, I'll tell you. I was not right. I saw it a few days ago when the video was released. I was not right for the rest of the day. I wasn't. And I've always known these things exist, but when you see something like that, 25-year-old basically hunted down. It's disgusting. All right, we're gonna talk some music in quarantine here. So we've not been in the studio so much for Go Tell It to the Wall, but have been busy on some other things, and I'm going to talk about those things kind of toward the end of the episode here. But specifically, the one and only, yours truly, Sean O'Rourke, was actually in a new music video that came out about 2 weeks ago for basically one of the greatest bands on the face of the earth, and that would be the Stool Preachers. They released a new EP. They have now released 2 music videos for both songs. It's a two-track EP. If you're interested, if you're a Barstool Preachers fan, you're probably aware of this, but if you're interested, head on over to barstoolpreachers.com, and they actually have both songs from the EP available for download for free. But I will say they are also running a charitable campaign to raise money for the NHS there in the UK. So please, by all means, they are free, but throw them a couple bucks. I actually threw them £5. For those of you not familiar with money in the UK, they don't have dollars, they have pounds. So I threw them £5, which was like $7 and something cents. And it's actually more than I would have paid for 2 songs, but because it's a good cause, that's what I did. I also might have bought some Barstool Preachers merch. And if you're a Barstool Preachers fan and you haven't been on there to check out the merch yet, do that as well. They got some great merch up there and artwork by the incredible Paul Smith of Zombie Teeth Clothing, so check that out, and definitely check out the music video for At World's End, and you'll see myself as well as my incredible 3-year-old daughter, both in the music video, among many others. But just it's actually A couple people had trouble spotting me, but a couple people were like, "Oh no, yeah, no, there you are, there you are." So it's hard to spot some people, but you should be able to get me in there pretty easily. Yeah. The Bomb Pops. Oh man, the Bomb Pops. We definitely talked about the Bomb Pops on the last Go Tell Us the Wall episode. They were actually planning a record release party for March 13th. Well, March 13th is when things really hit the fan here in Los Angeles and started to close up. They actually canceled the show a few days before that as it started to get crazy, and specifically because Polly Van Dam of the Bomb Pops is very much immunocompromised because she does have diabetes. So they canceled that, of course, understandably, and then came just the rolling cancellations of all concerts. I think last count I was at like 10 ticketed concerts between March 13th and now that have either been canceled or postponed. And there's at least 2 more getting added to that because I've got a show at the end of May that is guaranteed going to get postponed, as well as Hell Omega Tour. That's getting postponed as they roll through all the dates and everything. So that's going to be another 2. But the Bomb Pops did release their brand new album, Death in Venice Beach. If you're a punk rock fan, pop punk fan, ska punk fan, make sure you check out the Bomb Pops, Death in Venice Beach. It is a fantastic album start to finish. Particularly 13 Stories Down might be my favorite track on the album. Or maybe Can't Complete. It's hard. It's a great album. Check out the Bomb Pops. They've also got some new merch that they released with the record release. Speaking of new merch, and I was talking about face masks. I've actually got some official Go Tell It to the Wall face masks on order. They're being made most likely this week. Thank you to Sam at Stupid Rad Merch there in the Midwest, who also does the Bomb Pops merch, putting out these awesome custom masks. So we'll have them on the podcast and for some of the stuff. And if you're interested, I can hook you up with a way of getting a Go Tell It to the Wall face mask. And so maybe that'll be a thing. And of course, with all the quarantine stuff, I mentioned the shows we're missing. A lot of these bands are missing out on revenue. Support them. If you have a favorite band, go buy their music. Go buy some of their merch. Those things are still available because they just get shipped to you. So make sure you do that. I've actually bought quite a bit of merchandise from some bands as well as music. And part of that for me was like, well, I spent all this money on tickets and now it's not being spent. And, well, let's do, I'm actually still saving money outside of the little bit of revenue that we're losing because of the podcast and the live events. But saving money by not being able to go out to eat and all these other things. But support art, whether it's music, whether it's artists. Don't worry about sports teams. They're going to be freaking fine. But, authors, whatever it might be, buy books, buy merch, buy prints, buy art, whatever it is, support them. The important, and honestly, it's a little bit selfish. Not fully selfish. I want to support these artists that have brought me joy over the years, honestly. But it's also selfish in the way that you want that band to still be together when we come out of this and live shows can happen again. Support them. Support them. You want that restaurant to still be in business? Get some takeout. You want that artist to still be able to create art? Buy some prints. Buy some shirts. Whatever it might be, buy it. Support them. And of course, a lot of these musicians and artists are doing things in quarantine. We're seeing a lot of interviews taking place on various social platforms. We're also seeing, concert series, I'm putting that in finger quotes because it's been acoustic concert series, like floating from house to house. And I want to give a shout out to a couple of those. MXPX is one of the bands, and that's, Mike Herrera. I'm just having a blank there. Mike Herrera has actually been doing acoustic performances every Friday on Facebook, so you can catch that on Facebook. It might be on other platforms too. I've been watching it on Facebook. We have the Green Day Mondays. Billy Joe is doing No Fun Mondays. Every Monday he's doing a cover song. That one's on YouTube, so make sure you're checking that one out. And we have Goldfinger. I want to say they've put out like 4 or 5 different, and those are awesome. I love Billy Joe performing and everything else, but the way that John Feldman, Mike Herrera has been in all of those too, because he plays with MXPX a lot. The way that they have done those and cut them together is just, I get up in the morning. There was a new one today from Goldfinger. I get up in the morning, I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. And I know there are tons and tons and tons of other artists out there. I've seen dance parties. I know a lot of Burning Man camps and stuff are doing like live streams and have DJs coming on. So there's still stuff out there for you. And I will say, I don't usually endorse Disney, but there is a Disney sing-along tonight for Mother's Day on ABC. And, you know, I don't know that I'll watch the whole sing-along. My kid's going to be going to bed pretty quick after. But I have gotten word that the Muppet Show Muppets will be kicking off the sing-along. So I'll probably be watching it. I believe it's 7 p.m. here on the West Coast. I'll probably be watching at least that opening there to see the Muppets. But there's content out there. And support this content and consume the content. And know that eventually we're going back to normal. We're going to get there. Yes, we are. I think maybe I'm gonna do these earlier in the day on Sundays, and maybe we'll bring in a little mimosa action here. We're just all over the place. I've like no prep done for this, so we're definitely a little bit all over the place, but having fun with it. All right, we are nearing the end. I'm trying to keep these to 30 minutes. Of course, they're going to. We're gonna go over here and there, but I want to talk about a couple new things. A shout out to Something's Not Right Studios. And Jeff Jackson, who's been doing a lot of great work for Something's Not Right Studios, as well as they got a couple other guys working on content for Something's Not Right Studios, including yours truly. Although I kind of get off pretty easy because it's basically been Jeff calling me up and me giving him some content, and he's doing the heavy lifting. Everyone at Something's Not Right Studios has been doing the heavy lifting. But make sure you subscribe to them on YouTube as well. You're also going to find some Go Tell It to the Wall content mixed in with Something Not Right Studios, as well as HatieCast, which, if you remember, we talked quite a bit about HatieCast at the very, 4 years ago, when we first launched Go Tell It to the Wall. So Something Not Right Studios, and you're gonna see lots of things. There's lots of different content on there, but if you go through and you look for the Go Tell It to the Wall stuff and kind of work out from there, you're gonna see some interviews. You're also gonna see music suggestions. So specifically for my section, you will see punk rock picks of the week coming through. We're working on shooting more of those. There's one up there already. But make sure you subscribe, share it, check out Something's Not Right Studios. A lot more collaboration coming there as well. So look forward to that. Additionally, Mental Health Mondays coming hopefully this week. I need to probably going to finish this up and then go shoot a Mental Health Monday, and it's going to be all kinds of fun. Those don't go live. Those are just going to be posted on YouTube and Facebook and everything else. So look forward to that as well. That is going to do it for our first Go Tell It to the Wall Common Sense Sunday episode. I will say, stay safe out there. I'm staying safe. I'm wearing my mask. I know most of my friends are wearing masks, and I will say I am proud of my Burning Man brethren, and especially my punk rock brethren, who really have been doing a great job of using common sense and trying to keep as many people safe as possible. So, remember, full Go Tell It to the Wall episodes will be coming back at some point. It's just a matter of getting the studio rearranged and done correctly. And starting now, we will have Go Tell It to the Wall Common Sense Sunday segments coming your way, a little bit shorter. And you'll be able to find these. If you're watching on the live stream, make sure you're also downloading, because you're going to be able to find them wherever you are getting your podcasts and your content. And then vice versa, if you are only listening and you're subscribed and you're consuming it on whichever podcast platform, don't forget you can also find the videos and other segments on YouTube. Head over to YouTube, search Go Tell It to the Wall. Make sure you're following us on Facebook, facebook.com/Go Tell It to the Wall. And of course, most importantly, would be SeanO'RourkeLive.com. That's going to take you to everything that's going to connect you in every way possible. I mean, you can literally send me an email directly through SeanO'RourkeLive.com if that's something you want to do. That's been heating up too, but it's usually people that are like, "You suck," or like, "This is great," or it's like, "Can you come host this event for $5?" Like, nope. It's kind of below my rate, man. But thanks for asking. I appreciate the enthusiasm. So again, SeanO'RourkeLive.com. This has been Episode 1 of Go Tell It to the Wall Common Sense Sundays. I'm your absolute favorite podcast host, the one and only Sean O'Rourke. And remember, during this stay at home, this quarantine, this crazy time in the country and in this entire world, no matter who you're with, no matter what you're doing, no matter where you go, stay home. And no matter why you are doing it, always use common sense. All right, thanks everyone for joining on the live feed. I know this was kind of thrown together last minute. We didn't even get Bridget on here, but I genuinely just did not even give Chris or Bridget a heads up. I didn't mention it on the actual episode, but yes, my wife has cut my hair a couple times now for quarantine, and I've realized, because I was never, even as a kid, I never had the full mohawk. I was more of the, for those of you familiar with punk rock, I was definitely like the Lars, Out Come the Wolves hair, like Bleach, or Noodles from Offspring when he had the shorter hair. Like, that was my steez, but now I've got this going, and I've realized I probably have to buy one of those giant tubs of gel, because like the hair stuff I have now is not meant for. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe we'll dye it too. My wife likes it. I got no one else to impress, so that's what we're doing. We should be back next Sunday with Common Sense Sundays by Go Tell It to the Wall. So look for that and make sure you are subscribed. We are everywhere. Spotify, Google Play, Apple Music. We're basically everywhere except SoundCloud. Right? I don't know. And people hit me up they're like, hey, the podcast. And I'm like, what even is that? We're on Stitcher and like all kinds of stuff. So just go download, subscribe, share with your friends. Lots of great new content coming your way. And if anyone wants to hit me up, I definitely want to also promote businesses and artists and bands as much as possible. So if anyone's out there, hit me up. We'll get it out there. We don't do a ton of numbers on YouTube, but we do about 15,000 unique listens per episode of Go Tell It to the Wall. So that should be, we'll get you out there as much as possible. I want to support everyone we can. I want to make sure all these artists and bands and everything else are still here when we can finally enjoy things again. And goddamn, I'm telling you, I cannot wait until we can get to a show. I need it. All right. Until next time, Wall fans, Common Sensors, social media world, if you've got any complaints, go tell them to Wall.